What does that look like, Pastor? Well, what it looks like is people are coming in and they're bypassing you. What it's going to look like is if you're not changing, what it's going to look like is people rubbing you wrong all the time. What it's going to look like to you is that don't nobody care about what I'm feeling and what I'm going through. This is what it's going to look like to you if you're not changing. If you're not changing, what's happening is you're dying. Because either in the kingdom of God as in the natural, you change or you die. I don't know much about plants, and but I know they're supposed to grow. I do know that. And but what happens is if you have a plant, sometimes a plant can live a long time and be in a stagnant state. You look like a runt plant, like that plant just ain't gonna grow. It's just like it's not gonna do anything, but the leaf is still green. So what happened is you said, but I can still see a sprig of life because it still got green leaves on it. But over a matter of time, if that plant don't do something, if it don't catch hold of something, if you don't dig around it, somebody need to help me up in here. If you don't dig around it, change the soil or do something or put some fertilizer in there. Am I this right? Yeah. Put some fertilizer in there or some plant food or do something to it. You keep on looking and one day you're going to come in there and what did have a little sprig of life is going to be dead. And that same thing happens in our spiritual life. You might be coasting with a spark of life. It might look like it, that you holding on and you holding on. Yeah, I might not be who all I supposed to be, but thank God I ain't what I used to be. But you ain't been in the same spot for 5 years. But you've been in the same spot for 10 years. And they've been digging around you. They've been fertilizing you. They've been plant food feeding you. But you for some reason you're rejecting. Oh, somebody ought to have me here. For some reason you're rejecting the nutrients. Oh, come on. You're rejecting. For some reason your system just won't accept what it would take to cause you to continue to grow. When you get to that state right there, you can't do anything now but die. There's no way you can continue to live and not be nourished. When we look in the spiritual realm of things, God said he's given each of us some supernatural grace. And what happens is some of us trying to just be a grace case. We're trying to live the whole rest of our Christian lives on grace. But the Bible said, even with grace, he said, by grace you're saved, but it's through faith. So what will happen is we don't have enough faith to trust God to move outside of where we are and allow God to take us to where we need to be. So what we're saying is that, well, I'm riding on grace. But that what happened is you riding on grace, but you ain't got no faith that's mingled with it. Somebody said, well, how can you say I ain't got no faith because I don't see no works? Oh, yeah, come on. Well, what do works look like, Pastor? Change. Come on.